The following program is sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.
Welcome to Building Wisconsin, Todd. Thanks for coming on today's show. And wow, it's mid-morning and these guys are already working on the finishing process of this project. So let's get caught up to speed, where we're at and what we're gonna see on today's show.
So we're on a Middleton Construction project over in Deforest. Last few hours, they've put in 30,000 square foot here.
Wow. Is this considered the commercial side of your local 599 members compared to some of the road building projects we saw earlier?
Yes, Stu, this is more of the commercial side of it. It's big warehouses, big flatwork floors, just like you see downtown Madison, the high-rise vertical, that's all commercial work.
So your members work on both, right?
Yep.
They're trained accordingly?
They're trained to do both, yes. Yep.
Okay, now you mentioned Middleton Construction is the contractor. Tell us a little bit about them and their partnership with Local 599.
Middleton's partnership with Local 599 is huge. We train the members in our facility in Madison and also in Milwaukee. We have two facilities. We do a lot of rider training. Yeah, it's a great partnership. Russ has been one of our biggest contributors since I've been around for 10 years in the office. So yeah, it's great.
I know off camera you were telling me that he actually donated one of those machines.
Yes, yeah. So in the Madison facility, Russ donated a rider that we can use for the program for all the young guys.
Does that really help you guys out when contractors step up and donate to the apprenticeship training center?
It's huge. We're a small local and we fund it ourselves.
And speaking of members, I know that you guys are always looking for dependable, hardworking individuals who want to join 599, work for contractors like Middleton Construction. But say I work as a cement mason for a local concrete contractor, but I'm looking to make a change. Maybe I can get higher pay, maybe better benefits. Is it different for them to enter? Do they need to go through a complete apprenticeship?
So there's three different options. So you can go through the apprenticeship program, obviously. We have a trainee program where if you have some experience, you're gonna start out a little bit higher. Maybe you don't have to go to school, right? The employer might require you to go to school and tell you this is how we're gonna work it. But say you got 10, 15, 20 years of experience, we want you to come over. Russ Pulver wants you, Findorf wants you, right? Yep. They want them experience from around the state.
So that's good, and I know you don't have to just be in your 20s or 30s. I know in our previous show, we had somebody who's actually, maybe in his 50s or even early 60s, just wants to keep working. You guys value that, don't you?
I have had apprentices come in twice in the last 10 years that I've been a BA, 50 years old.
Wow.
Started an apprenticeship, and they were still going into their 60s.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you coming on today's show, introducing the project. I'm gonna go catch up with Russ Pulver right now from Middleton Construction to learn more about the process.
Thanks, Stu, I appreciate it.
Welcome to Building Wisconsin. Russ, thanks for coming on today's show. These guys are really making some great progress on this particular pour. Now, what is Middleton Construction's role on this particular project?
Stu, our role on this job is we're the concrete contractor. On this particular job, we did the foundations, interior flat work, and we're doing the exterior flat work at the same time. Today, we're just pouring the interior flat work. The foundations obviously are complete, but today we're pouring 30,000 square feet, about 650 yards, and as you can see, we're almost done with our pour.
Wow, so is this a pretty typical project for your company?
It is. We're a commercial concrete contractor, and for what we're doing today is what we do day in and day out, Monday through Friday.
And so you do flat work, walls, really a turnkey operation, so that's got to be beneficial to the owner and a general contractor that hires your company.
It is. It's one phone call.
That's good. What is your geographic area? Meaning you're basically a Madison-based company, and this is in Deforest, so this is in your backyard, but do you go further than southern Wisconsin?
Jobs this close to home don't happen all the time. And I always say you gotta go where the job is. With the state of Wisconsin, with the commercial aspects of concrete construction, it's from Green Bay, Janesville, Beloit, back to Madison, which I call the triangle. There's others around the state of Wisconsin, but we concentrate on that part in our market.
Do you guys ever go out of state?
We do. We travel for a company out of Wisconsin that is nationwide, and we're fortunate to follow them doing the concrete flat work and the foundations also.
Well, back to this project, let's walk through it from preparation to completion and what your guys are up to.
So today we're coming to the end of our pour. On Friday, they use the laser grader to grade the sub base, as you can see. And then the day of the pour, they lay out the plastic, and once the plastic's laid and taped, the truck pours the concrete out 15 feet, and then the laser screed with the laser technician booms out 15 feet and screeds it back to its first pass. Then on the other side of the screed is a cement mason who is bull floating the concrete with a magnesium float. The magnesium float brings the bleed water to the top of the surface for workability for when they're troweling, pushes the aggregate down, and then we let it hydrate or harden, as you can see the steps that are taken to the finishing of the floor.
Well, you know what I love to see when I'm visiting construction projects like this is the latest technology. And I mean, the industry has really evolved. I mean, you can see they're using hand tools to spread it out, to place the concrete, but then you have what you call the laser screed and some pretty high-tech equipment here.
With the business of concrete, the technology and the equipment has advanced tremendously to make it easier on the workers. The laser screed has been a major engineering phenomena, along with the trawlers and the riders and the computer equipment to make it all happen.
And it seems to me that it's extremely accurate when you're using that technology. I mean, when you look at this floor, it looks perfectly level. How much variation is there?
It goes in a process. So the screed gets it within an 1/8 inch, and then the trawlers get it within a 1/16 of an inch with the size of the 10-foot riders that level the concrete to smooth it off and harden the surface.
Okay, so as I look around, there's a number of different trades that are involved here. Today's show, we're focusing in on the cement masons, the cement finishers. What is their role in here? Do they actually help out a bit with the placing of the concrete?
They do, Stu. Their role is to place the concrete, level it within reason for the laser screed. Then they drop back and start the finishing procedure. I always mimic it like waxing a car. It goes in surfaces. You start with a low-grade grit and work your way up to the fine grit to get the sheen, the polish, and the final appearance.
You know, as I look out here, this looks like a pretty thick pour. It's a big commercial building, obviously. How thick is this concrete?
This particular floor is 6 inches thick with 3 pounds of fiber mesh. Let me get you a sample of it right now. So this mix here matches the mix design, Stu. It's got 1.5 inch aggregate with little aggregates to make a well-fined mix. We use a larger aggregate to create more surface area to minimize curling of the concrete floors. And then you got the fiber mesh, as you can see there, for reinforcement. And the overall of this mix matches the mix design for the end-use quality product.
So this really is high-tech right down, not just the machines, but down to the mix itself. And that's interesting that there's a purpose for each size aggregates that's in there. An aggregate, somebody might say, what's that? Well, it's really stone, right, or rock?
Correct. And you got the different size of gradations to make it all come together.
And so how long will it take this to cure? Like, I mean, you're talking about a product that you get one chance to get it right.
We'll be done in 8 hours, Stu, and going home.
Wow. And so when we talk about getting it right, how important is the training of the workers that you get from Local 599?
Immense. They are the lifeline of our success for the quality product we put down, Stu.
Really? And so you value the training at a high level?
I always reference a plumber or electrician can minimize their errors by moving a pipe here and there. Once our product is done, it's very expensive to replace and fix.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, let's move on down here. I'm curious more about this floating machine.
Let's do it.
So would you consider this to be the finishing stages of finishing concrete?
Stu, this is part of the process from start to finish. As you can see, as the concrete's down there now, the different sheens of the floor, that looks a little wet for what it is being we just poured. This machine, the pan rider, comes on the next stage when the concrete starts to hydrate or get hard. The timing on that is crudely sometimes by their footprint, where you can just step out there and see the footprints in the slab.
Wow, hardly at all.
After 3 hours of pouring, Stu, it's starting to get hard, and then they know it's start panning.
And you're not worried about the footprints you just put in there?
Not at all. The pan machine will take them right out.
And you're calling it a pan machine. It was pretty cool to see it when it's running, and they'll use that multiple times on here?
On here, the pan machine will be done once, and you can kind of see the pattern of the machine and the sheen of the light and how it comes. It's called the pan machine because if you lift it up, it's got 2 5-foot pans that look like pizza pans.
And that goes around and really helps to, I gotta believe, level it off, because that's pretty wide.
It does. The wider the better to make the concrete flatter.
And so when I look around and then I still see some hand finishing going on here.
The edges need to be detailed just like anything. The machine can only do so much and get so close.
Okay.
Where this gentleman here is getting the trowel down flat and level for the smooth transition.
Okay, another aspect I see when it gets even harder are the saw cuts here. And maybe you could explain what those are for the viewers.
When that's done, Stu, that's a final process after the combo rider is done troweling the floor. Then the saws come in and we come down and cut our control joints 2 times the thickness of the slab for crack control.
Because I know in the past, one thing you can count on is concrete is gonna crack, and those are controlling where it cracks.
And that's where we try to prevent that. Yes, all concrete cracks, but we try to get ahead of the curve on that and to minimize that effect.
How much will this concrete shrink? I mean, does concrete shrink as it dries out?
It does. In time, it'll shrink usually 1 inch in 100 feet, but with that type of mixture, it minimizes the shrinkage and pouring in a controlled environment. The conditions today are perfect for concrete construction. You have the equilibrium where the subbase is equal as the air temperature as the ready-mix concrete coming together. It's all within the same 65 to 70 degrees temperature.
Well, you know, I just marvel at all the technology of concrete. And it takes highly skilled, highly trained individuals to get it done right the first time, because as you alluded to before, you get one chance to get it right. So before we leave today, maybe you could share some advice on what to look for in the next generation of cement masons.
Stu, we look for individuals that are dedicated, willing to have pride in what they do from what they wake up in the morning until they go home at night. Concrete is a one-stop, one-chance opportunity, and there's a lot of skill and talent and oversight that goes into that. The type of employee we look for is one that shows up on time, learns from their craft, and then excels in their craft to teach the next generation.
So dependable, hardworking. I mean, it's a rewarding career at the end of the day, right?
It is, and with the technology and equipment that has come about, it has made the trades easier to do what they need to do for a skilled product.
Sure, and what does that mean? It means longevity. It's a rewarding career, but it's one that can last your entire working lifetime. And I have a lot of friends that are in this field, and because of the advancements in technology, they're able to work, and they don't, you know, it's not quite as difficult as it was years ago.
In the trades, it's a family business. It's either generational, aunts, uncles, fathers, sons, and it continues to carry on even to concrete construction.
Yep. And at the end of the day, the pride is second to none. I just love that. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on and share with us the hardworking individuals here on this massive project. We'll see you again in the future.
Thanks, Stu.
Welcome back to Building Wisconsin, Kilah. We're here in downtown Kenosha, another exciting project featuring the cement masons from Local 599. Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely, this is super exciting. It's a beautiful day. We are watching AW Oaks and our cement mason finishers paving 18th Street.
Sure, and when we talk about aging infrastructure, this is a prime example. This needs to be rebuilt and the cement masons are playing an integral role in it, right?
Absolutely, they are the educated and trained professionals, the best in the business, and their job is to make sure that the slab is nice and flat and there's no humps or bumps, the water goes where it needs to go, and that provides the safest, smoothest ride for the citizens.
Oh, they're gonna love it when it's done, that's for sure. Now tell us a little bit about AW Oaks, the signatory contractor in this project.
Yeah, Oaks is a great contractor, a great partner for Local 599. One of the cool things about them is they have like actual members from the tools that are in their ranks as estimators and supervisors and project managers too. So we like to see that kind of like flexibility and that growth from our membership.
Well, that's an awesome example of if somebody's considering becoming a cement mason, you don't just stay down on your hands and knees finishing if you don't want to. If you want to advance, there's opportunity with the right signatory contractor.
Absolutely, the sky's the limit. The industry is definitely in need of people that want to be leaders and step it up, and there's opportunities all over the place.
Well, this is going to be awesome to showcase it to our viewers. I'll see you in another episode. Right now I'm going to go catch up with Ed from AW Oaks.
Great.
Thanks for coming on Building Wisconsin, Ed. I am so excited about today's show because this is an opportunity to showcase kind of a unique, in my opinion, way of placing concrete and getting a municipal road built. So tell us what we're looking at.
We are looking at a full road reconstruct of 22nd Avenue in the city of Kenosha. Runs from about 18th Street down to 27th Street. We removed the entire roadway. We processed it in place on grade. All the gravel you see here was the old roadway.
Oh, that's cool. So you're actually recycling the old existing product.
We have a big crushing division, and we like to walk our machines down to save money and reprocess the road in place.
Well, you know, I know from previous shows that the preparation and especially the base of any road project, that's crucial, isn't it?
Yes, the base is very important, especially when we are trying to navigate down and build the job. It needs to support the operation. So we went down about 14 inches here to subgrade. We built it back up with 6 inches of stone. Any soft spots we replaced, and now we're going to put 8 inches of concrete pavement on top.
And one thing that I noticed that is a little different than in the past is you're not running steel all the way through it. You just have it certain, I assume where the control joints are going, you have some steel there.
Yes, these are all contraction joints. We're going to pave the road. Once the concrete's not plastic anymore and it gets hard enough to get a saw on, we're going to saw the joints directly in the middle where these dowel baskets are, and then these dowel baskets will act as load transfer support.
Okay, well, before we get into the process itself, I'm curious about AW Oaks. As I understand it, you have quite a history in southeast Wisconsin.
Yeah, AW Oaks, I believe they were around in the late 20s, early 30s, and then in about 1948 they became AW Oaks & Son. They were a earthwork contractor, asphalt paver, and then over the last 75 years developed into a earthwork, underground utility company, and concrete paving company.
Okay, and hence that is why you were able to do some of the water main here as well.
Right, yes. We are a contractor that can do generally all the large operations on a job like this.
Sure, so is this a pretty typical project for you guys in a municipality setting?
Yes, we do a lot of jobs just like the one you're looking at in all municipalities around Kenosha County, Racine County, and into Milwaukee County.
Wow, that's awesome. And I always say on Building Wisconsin, we're fortunate to have a high quality of life because of the signatory contractors and the highly skilled professionals that are doing the work.
Yeah, we need all our trades. We have the finishers, laborers, and operators out here today building the road.
That said, let's go down and see everybody in action and see how this road is getting built.
Sounds good.
Okay, so once the prep has been completed, take us through the process. How does it all begin?
Well, what we didn't see was yesterday we finished trimming the grade. We come in with a trimmer and put it right on grade within 100th of what we need to be.
Wow.
We laid out all the joints in the baskets and pin them down. As you see down the grade, the guys are pinning them. This particular pour, we're using a belt placer, so that way we don't have to truck the grade and maintain the grade.
And that's pretty interesting because I've never seen this type of process. I'm used to seeing ready-mix trucks come in. So how is that different and why is it better in a situation like
Well,
this?
it's faster. We're using our own batch plant to produce the concrete, which is about 15 minutes away. We bring it out here, we place it right in front of the grade, and the paver has a strike off and a plow that can manipulate the concrete in front of the machine.
That's a pretty stiff mix. I mean, that's got to be a half-inch slump on that.
Well, there's no strength in water, so we like to keep a dry mix to get high breaks, so it's a high-strength concrete, and it'll also stand up because we are slip-form paving, and we got 2 vertical sides on this that need to stand up.
Let's go down and see that paver.
Okay. So this is a working SP94 slip-form paver. This machine is equipped with a plow and a strike off on the front with vibrators. We place the concrete in front, it strikes it off, vibrates it, consolidates it, and then you get your finished product out the back.
I just love to see advancements in technology. And years ago, they would have had to do this by hand, right?
Yes, they would. Back in the day, they would set rails. They were very large, heavy forms, and they would use machines that would sit on the rails to place the concrete.
Is it fair to say you get a better, more consistent end result using this type of machine?
Yeah, this machine in particular, we are equipped with Leica stringless technology, so we don't have to run sensors and string line like the old days, I guess.
So how accurate is it?
It's very accurate. It's within the thousands is what we're
Holy
dialing
smokes!
this into.
And I mean, we want it done as precisely as possible because that means this infrastructure is going to last for a good long time.
This should be well over a 50-year road.
How many lineal feet do you guys do in a day with something like this?
On a job like this, we're going to be around 2,000 feet in a day. Just depends on how many structures are behind the machine.
Well, it looks like you have a composite crew here, that's for sure. Let's go take a look at what the finishers are doing because they play a very important role in the end result.
Oh yeah.
You know, as I look at the finishers in action here, I mean, working with all the different trades, training has to play a huge role.
Yes, all the local unions, you got the 599, the 113, and the 139. They all do a great job at training their apprentices into great journeymen. At AW Oaks, we also do our own internal training, more geared towards safety, but ultimately the trades are what provides us with really good workers.
Yeah, and ultimately the great quality of life with the end results we get from these type of projects. Let's focus in on the role of the cement finishers right now. Walk us through what they're doing.
So we have some that are right behind the paver. They focus on sealing the surface. They want to make sure that there's no deviations or holes. They fill them in if they're there. Otherwise, they're running mops and bow floats right behind the paver and they're edging the slab. We also have some that are further behind that are going to bring up all these structures to finish grade.
And when you say structures, those are the mechanicals that are underneath. They're subgrade,
Yes.
but they have to be brought up to the surface.
Yeah, we have AT&T manholes, we have storm sewer structures, we have sanitary structures, and then all the water valves that all need to be raised. There's about 25 today that we need to pave over and then bring up about an inch to finish grade within a 1/4 inch of the surface and then hand finish around.
And so that's what I saw the finishers in action there. When you say pave over, it looks just like this, but everywhere there's a pink marker, that's where there's some type of mechanical that needs to be dug up by a finisher
Yep.
and then finished around, not right flush because you
Yes.
got to allow for snow plowing.
Yeah, unfortunately, the machine needs clearance to get over these structures, so that we got to leave them about an inch low, pave over them, bring them up behind, and that's where all the hard work is.
Yeah, and that's the hands-on work. And even though we're talking about the advancement in technology, there's still a lot of hands-on work involved in a project like this.
There's always going to be a lot of manual labor, but we try to make it as easy as possible with our equipment.
And you know, when I was watching the finishers in action down there, I believe they called it a bridge, because I was wondering how they're going to walk out there on this beautiful concrete to dig out those mechanicals.
Yes, we have a mechanical work bridge that steers it on the slab, puts out a nice turf drag for the finish, but it's also our means of getting out on the slab and bringing all these structures up, and it holds our tools.
And then beyond that one, there was a finish one?
Yes, the final bridge is a texture cure machine. This job in particular, we're using it to spray the curing compound on. Basically gives it a protection layer, lets it cure at a proper temperature, and gives it more longevity.
Does temperature matter when you're pouring concrete? Because here we have 4 seasons. Do you guys work year-round?
We do not work year-round, we're seasonal, but we are spring, summer, fall, and in the winter. I mean, we do got to complete our contracts, and we do go into December generally pouring concrete.
But does temperature matter? I mean,
temperature matters a lot because it really fluctuates your temperature of your aggregates and all the materials that go into making the concrete, and the hotter it gets, the harder it is to work with, and the faster it wants to set up.
boy, there's a lot of thinking that goes into projects like this, and at the end of the day, yeah, aesthetics play a big role. We want them to look nice, but we really want them to last, and that's the longevity, and that's everything you're talking about, from the prep to the mix that you're using to the professionals that are running it and placing the concrete, and down to the curing compounds that you're putting on at the end.
Yes, it's all very vital for a 50-year product is what the city wants us to provide for them.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and briefly introducing it to us. Thanks for coming on Building Wisconsin.
Thank you very much.
For more information on Building Wisconsin, follow us on Facebook and be sure to watch additional episodes on YouTube or at our website, buildingwisconcintv.com. The preceding program was sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.